Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to 𝕃𝕀𝕂𝔼's YouTube channel, starring me, the mighty Crino. This is Bosses Only, the video series where we look at just the bosses from a dungeon, because you're not stuck on trash, you're stuck on bosses! From the Lost Depths DLC, this is Earthen Root Enclave. Why is it called Earthen Root Enclave? I'm going to be honest with you, normally I have like a silly photoshopped thing. Maybe it would have been about a tree with huge roots that were made of mud, and then it died and they built a village on top of its roots or something stupid like that, but I didn't, so we're just going to go straight into boss number 1, secret boss Scalded Root. See the 3 lit fires in front of the boss? So all around the first area there are going to be these huge bonfires that light each one, and one of these little fires will light up, and then this red wispy thing will come out and make its way to the boss. Chase it there, and with all 3 fires lit, you're ready to fight this boss. So this is one of those standard, not too difficult, sort of tank and spank type of things. Tank as usual, taunt it, turn it away from the group. Group can shoot it in the back. Occasionally little fiery wolf ads spawn. They're not really too damaging. Tank can just chain them in or whatever and they'll get cleaved down. The only things to look for with this boss, it's got a fireball attack, it's got a conal attack that will cleave anyone standing there, so don't stand on the same side as the tank. And occasionally fiery things rain down from the sky. It's very straightforward, and once it's done, you've got your first buff to help you out with the first proper boss, the Corruption of Stone, which we are approaching now, and naturally we'll go and turn the hard mode on, because of course we are. I just love being tormented. Now I should mention, we wiped a lot learning this boss. After all, this was the first time any of us had been here. It was release day that the Lost Depths dungeon pack came out, and so we had no prior knowledge of this, no idea what to do. We figured it out as we went, and after 429 trillion wipes, this is the time you're seeing now where we actually finally killed him. So what's going on in this fight? One of the first moves he does is this earthquake ability, which puts red circles that continually appear under your feet and do a lot of damage. You'll want to run around, but spread out from each other so they don't hit you. Now, we've discovered on hard mode at 80%, you've just seen it here, of his health, he goes up into the air, and a huge red AoE fills the room, but there'll be a pillar that pops up. Run behind it and hide until it explodes, then a second one will come up, run behind that and hide. If you are hit by that AoE and you're not hiding behind a rock, it's instant death for you. So, after he comes back down, these Atronachs will spawn. They do this awful ground pound thing. Whenever they're doing it, you want to kill that one as quickly as possible, is what we found. We would have whichever one's doing the ground pound, everybody would run and kill him first, and then run to the next one. It doesn't matter where in the room it is. If it's doing that stompy thing, run over there and kill it. Now, the tank doesn't actually have too difficult of a time in this fight. It's mostly just keep him centered and do the same moving away from all the earthquake stomps that happen. And also the shockwave bash is another ability that's similar, but it only does 2 AoEs. It does one quite big one, and then like an aftershock right after it. So you're going to see it here, big one, smaller one. You'll want to make sure you stay out of those. Continue working on those Atronachs until you've defeated them all, and then you can go and continue attacking the boss. The reason we want to kill these Atronachs is this ground pound is awful. It just bleeds your health off you. It's very difficult for the healer to keep up with, so you need to keep them killed. As soon as you've done it, go back to attacking the boss. And it's the exact same thing again until you get him down to, I think it was about 60% of his health when he jumped up in the air again. Now you'll notice right here the boss is enraged. The reason is the tank, which was me, dodge rolled his heavy attack. Tank, ideally you don't want to dodge roll the heavy attack because the boss does enrage and then he hits harder. Okay, he's gone up in the air. We're going to do the hide behind the rock thing. After the AoE fills the entire room, there's a big explosion. The rock is destroyed, but a new one appears. Hide behind that because he does it again immediately. He always does this twice. And once that's done, it's back to attacking the boss, but there are going to be Atronachs again. Same thing. Look for the one that's sort of got like a goldish glow to it. That one's doing the ground pound, and that's the one you need to kill. And once you're done, it doesn't matter if it's the next one over or if it's the other side of the room. The next one that's doing the ground pound is the next target. They are always the priority because the debuff that they cause really is horrendous. It's horrendous for the healer. It's horrendous for everyone. So always take out whichever Atronach is ground pounding and just go from one to the next to the next. All the tank's got to do is stay there in the middle, avoid all the earthquake stomps, and do not dodge the heavy attack from the boss tank, because if you dodge roll it, he will enrage and hit harder. Just eat it. But the thing is, I think the reason I had him enraged there was because I was stuck in a rock and a hard place. Kind of, you take some damage from the heavy attack, even through block, and if you're immediately hit by an earthquake circle after that, it could kill you. So sometimes you might have no choice but to dodge roll. So make sure that you are managing your resources, that you can block any hits. You can see there the buff. That first buff, the one that we got from the first secret boss, you've got to actually synergize an orb in the room. But when you do, for the duration of that beam being on you, you have an extra 500 weapon and spell damage for that buff. So it is worth grabbing because it definitely helped with this boss. So it's the same thing. Once all the Atronachs are dead, get back on the big hunky blocky rocky boss and continue attacking him. This time he's going to jump up in the air at about 30% of his health, we found on hard mode. And when he does that, it's the same thing again. Huge AoE fills up the room, hide behind one of those like pillars of stone that come out, and as soon as the shockwave explodes, run and hide behind the other one. It's a little different when he comes down after that third time of jumping up in the air. You're about to see, this is what we started calling the execute phase. When he comes back down this time, he's got this swirling storm all around him, and you take massive damage from it. So at this point, what we found was 3 of us, I think, were running Barrier as our back bar ultimate, and we saved it for this phase so that we could take turns using Barrier. So first one would use it, then the next, and then the next. You can see I actually died here, which was pretty terrible. Which really sucks for me, but, you know, it's still the same thing. Even with the tank dead, at this point, as long as you can keep dodge rolling and avoiding his attacks, you'll be able to finish him. Yes, thank you, yes, the tank is dead. But we've killed the boss too, so you know what, it's alright. You laugh at me, you mock me with your opera glasses, Catatonia. It's fine. So, this means we'll be moving on to the next boss, which is going to be another secret boss, and to access this one, the cave that you'll go into, there are 3 pools of water. Defeat the Spriggans, use the synergy on those pools, take them to some flowers, you've got a minute to find them, they're very close by, and use them on the flowers, the vessels that you synergize, and then come back to the beginning, and there'll be a portal, but when you activate it, it's not you going in, it's this lady coming out, Lutea. She's one of those sexy married ladies with the really nice boobies that everybody likes, and she's not that difficult. She's got a couple of sort of watery attacks and something very similar to the ice ring that you may have seen in Depths of Malatar. There's a boss there that does it. So the idea is you either want to be outside or inside the ring where it's not like area of denial, and just keep attacking her. Watch out for all the different water attacks, but again, it's another pretty straightforward one. Just tank have the boss one way, and everybody else, shoot her in the bum. And then when she dies, that's another rather nice buff that gives you, I believe, a bit of increased magicka and a damage shield when you synergize the now blue orb that will appear. Here we are at the second proper boss, Corruption of Root. We've increased the difficulty by activating the hard mode banner, and of course we wiped a bunch of times, which is why you saw the jump cut there. But now you're going to see it actually get killed, because we figured it out in the end. So let's begin! One of the first things you'll notice are the trees all around the outside. Watch out for them, because at certain points during this fight, she is going to spawn, the boss that is. Here you can see them, these little, like, deer men, fawns I think they're called, and after a minute they will jump into one of these trees. The tree then gets angry and shoots little red balls at you. So you are going to want to, hopefully, kill the fawns before they get to the trees. If not, you'll have to kill the tree itself. Meanwhile, this lady is constantly, you can see these roots sort of crisscrossing the room. You can sidestep or you can dodge roll them, but you don't want to be hit, because even though initially they don't hurt for much, they're so frequent that they can tear your health down very rapidly. The other thing to watch for, of course, is all the ads that she spawns. They're like the wild hunt bear looking things and some spriggans and whatnot. You'll want to kill all of those. Periodically during the fight, this boss is going to split into 4 all around the room, and you'll have to kill each copy before she recombines into her whole self for you to continue fighting her. Now look at all these AoEs that you can see on the floor during this fight. Every ad that you kill leaves a persistent pile of roots that causes a lot of damage, so it can end up with these things being all over the floor and you having almost nowhere to stand. Ideally, you want to kill the ads out of the way so that you aren't getting huge areas of denial right in the middle of the arena. But this boss really wasn't too bad. Keep an eye on the moving AoE that's constantly streaking across the floor. Watch out for ads. Make sure you kill them away from the main fight so that you don't get all these piles of poisonous roots everywhere. And if you see one of those form things, try to kill it as quickly as possible, otherwise it's going to jump into a tree and the tree will start shooting you. So you just need to keep on top of those things. But other than that, this isn't really too bad. She'll split apart, she'll recombine, and over time, just wear her down. It's rinse and repeat, just like that, all the way to the end. It's probably one of the easier of the hard mode boss fights in a dungeon, honestly, once you've got it sort of figured out. It's very much a pattern of kill the ads, try to kill them away from the boss. Watch out for the fawns, don't let them jump into the tree, and if they do, don't worry, just kill the tree. The boss will split apart, kill the minis, she recombines, keep attacking her, rinse and repeat until she's dead. A lot of the wipes that we had while we were figuring this out really only happened because we weren't fully grasping the mechanics yet. The streaking thing across the floor was particularly painful because it's constant dodge roll, dodge roll, dodge roll until you're out of stamina. But what I discovered is that you can actually sidestep, you just have to be quick about it. So you don't even need to dodge roll, you can actually sidestep them. Once they're on their path, they don't follow you. They initially target you where you're standing, so if you're not standing there by the time it gets to you, it won't hit you. So all you've got to do is keep an eye on them coming and get out of their way. The other thing that we had a lot of trouble with until we really got to grips with it was the ads. Just making sure that we leave ourselves room to stand by killing the ads further away from the center of the room where the tank is going to be holding the boss. So we're over halfway killing the boss now, we are almost there, and I mean, as you can see, this really is just it's not a DPS race, it's not a, you know, a DPS check either, it's very much just a case of make sure you're killing the ads, not too close to the center of the room, keep on top of those angry Wizard of Oz trees that throw their apples at you, and watch out for the crisscrossing things. We'll have this boss down in absolutely no time. So while Catatonia works on the tree, Beans is there in the middle, still working on the boss, and that's also a good idea. In fact, it's paying off, because we've managed to manage all the mechanics, and the boss has been defeated on hard mode, which is very dank. And so, with that boss finally defeated, we can move on to the third and final secret boss for the third and final helpful buff. There's some thingies to activate in this area. They're like little donut things, there's 3 of them, and once you find them all and pray at each shrine, the final boss, Jodoro, will spawn. He's one of those Indrik deer things that gets very angry, and he acts like basically every other Indrik fight. He'll teleport around, he'll buck up and down and shoot laser beams, and every so often you'll see like one of those ghostly sort of green Indrik things running across the room, and it doesn't really do anything, you can't kill it, it just sort of knocks you over and hurts, so try to avoid it. But other than that, it's not really a problem. This is yet another tank and Spank, with the only difference being that every so often the deer will charge across the room and teleport itself, and the tank will have to run and grab it and turn it around again. But not at all difficult. Get him killed and get you that last buff, because honestly they did come in handy, I think, especially really the first one is the best one, that extra weapon and spell damage. But this buff was pretty dank as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, we were about to see what it does. I guess I'll put that in the description. But we are now finally moving on to the final boss of this dungeon, Archdruid Devyric. And of course we're going to go down there and turn on hard mode, because that's the challenge. Now, I'm not going to lie, this boss was absolutely brutal on the hard mode. It was, again, we wiped a few times while we were figuring it out, although we did not wipe as many times here as we did on the previous two bosses. You just saw the little jump cut there, which tells you that this is the final time where we actually killed him, so let's begin. There is quite a lot going on in this fight. To start with, he's got a rather nasty heavy attack, and that's the usual. You can actually just, you know, block it if you're the tank and or dodge roll. He also does something similar to the earthquake attack that you see the first boss doing, with the small circles that go all over the place. And you know, you want to spread out, not overlap them, because you'll take the damage of everyone you're hit with, and stay away from each other for that. They're smaller and they hit harder. Every so often the boss throws out one of these lightning pillars. What the tank needs to do here, we found the easiest way, was to bring the boss over to the pillar so that the boss could be damaged at the same time as the pillar, because you really don't want... He keeps spawning those every little bit. And they will stack. There'll be more and more of them. If you don't take one down, there'll be another. And while they're up, you can see it here, they shoot all these lightning things at you that are really painful and electrical. So you also saw, just now, those flaming wolves. Those spawn on either side of the room, and they will target people and charge at them and explode. You'll know if you're targeted because you'll have a little pink flower symbol looking thing above your head. It's very similar to what we've seen in Coral Eyrie against 𝕊𝕑𝕂𝕼, the first boss there. So you know to just dodge roll at the last second to avoid it. Keep on top of those lightning pillars, and the tank needs to keep bringing the boss over there. Every so often, I think it happens 2 times during the fight, the boss will transform into a gigantic bear. Now, it's pretty painful. He's got a breath attack called Guttural Roar, which is going to be on the tank. It is almost certain death if you are not right by the healer stacking healing, and the healer has so much to keep up with because of all the different mechanics that he is mostly going to be where the DPS is. Tank wants to keep that roar off everybody else and keep bringing him over to whichever lightning pillar is active. Keep the boss at the pillar and the healer will be able to stack hella healing on you while the boss is getting damaged and the lightning pillars are getting taken out. Watch out for that big stomp. As you can see here, the big red line on the floor, the boss will target a person at random and then charge. Dodge roll out of the way, and he'll stun himself when he runs into the wall on the other side of the room, which gives you a few spare seconds to get some free damage in on the boss. You've also seen it several times, those rocky pillars that you had to hide behind on the first boss make a reappearance here. They pop up every so often. The difference is that after a few seconds they explode in a big AoE, so you don't want to be anywhere near them when that happens. As you can see, after a while of damaging him, he turns back into a man, and we basically repeat the exact same thing. We fight him in man form, he'll still be throwing out lightning pillars, he'll still be doing this earthquake attack. The pillars will keep coming up from the ground, so don't be too close to them when, as you can see, big spreading AoE and they explode. If you're caught in that, that's a whoopsie. So we can get this res off pretty quick, I think, because we all learned in here you really need to have that fast resurrect champion passive on. So that's another thing I recommend. Anyone who can, put that on. We're having the wolf attack again, as you can see. You get a little symbol above your head when you're targeted and you know it's coming. Just dodge roll, it'll explode and you will be fine. Tank needs to keep bringing the boss over to the lightning pillars as he spawns them so that the boss gets damaged and the pillars get destroyed. I always think it's funny seeing the lightning staff ultimate doing lightning damage to a lightning pillar that shoots lightning. Like, you'd think it wouldn't affect it at all, but it does. It works very well. I recommend that ultimate. It's extremely dank. Throwing out another lightning pillar. Same thing again. Tank's going to head that way with the boss, who has now turned into a bear again. This is the second time that he turns into a bear, and I believe this is his final form now. We won't see him in man form again, but it's going to be the same thing. That guttural roar, you can see the damage the tank is taking. You've got to really stack healing. It's useful if you're a Dragon Knight to have Magma Shell or Corrosive Armor, which caps incoming damage at 3% and basically makes you invincible for the duration of 10 seconds. So if you're a Dragon Knight tank, recommended, because it's up pretty frequently, it's a cheap ultimate, and it will allow you to survive the guttural roar without the healer's support should you find yourselves on opposite sides of the room. But ideally that's not going to happen, because you need to really keep this bear on those lightning pillars. Always bring him over there so that he gets damaged while the pillar gets damaged. Watch out for all the different spreading AoEs. definitely watch out for those wolves when that happens. And we are getting very close. Another pillar just exploded. Don't forget to dodge the wolves. And he is very, very, very nearly done now. But as you can see, while it seems like a lot at first, once we figured out bring the boss to the pillar and kill everything together, we didn't have any more problems. There was plenty of healing for the tank to survive that roar, the boss took plenty of damage, and the lightning pillars were no longer an issue. Had a whoopsie there, but we are so close, and yes, there we go! Victory! And that, we found, was the easiest way to deal with Archdruid Devyric, who is now dead. So, go and loot your lockpicks from his, what do you call a dead bear? Like, is that a cadaver or a carcass, or what is it? Well, just go loot your lockpicks. Lots of very nice dank achievements unlocking, because, this really and truly was our first ever time in this dungeon. We hadn't done the quest, we didn't have any of the achievements. We went in here for the first time, we wiped and we wiped and we wiped and we wiped. Still poop, but we got there in the end. So let's go turn in that quest. So yes, it's a lot, but it's what we always say. Follow those mechanics, take your time. There's no DPS race in here. It's very doable. And you'll get a fantastic bust to put in your house and stuff. So, as always, subscribe if you like what you see, and click that little bell to be notified when new YouTube videos get posted. There's a couple of videos here that I suggest watching. You can also come over to Twitter and follow 𝕊𝕬𝕑𝒂𝒎𝒑 there, and Instagram, of course, where there's pictures and memes and things sometimes. Obviously YouTube, which you're currently on, so I say this every time, hello. And don't forget to check out the stream at twitch.tv/𝕊𝕬𝕑𝒂𝒎𝒑. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Bosses Only, you handsome devil.